Welcome back to PicklePatter for another deep dive. Today we're hitting the courts, folks, diving into the world of pickleball. I'm Mark, pickleball enthusiast.
And I'm Raven.
I like to think of myself as like the unofficial economist for the sport, diving into the stats, the trends.
Well, and today we have a particularly interesting trend to unpack.
Right, because pickleball, this game that we all know and love, is about to become a serious powerhouse.
Yeah, get this. By 2033, pickleball is projected to be a $4.4 billion market.
$4.4 billion. That's insane. Like, we're talking serious money here. But what's fascinating to me is that it's not just hype. This growth seems to be driven by this, like, genuine love for the sport.
Absolutely. It's the wide appeal, right? You and I know it's not just for, retirees anymore. It's attracting people of all ages, fitness levels, and that's creating this truly massive market.
And when you look at the numbers, it really is mind-blowing. Like, in 2023 alone, there were over 48 million pickleball players in the U.S.
Crazy, right. And what's even more interesting is the growth rate. We're talking like over 200% in just the past few years. Pickleball is on fire.
It's like wildfire. Okay, but let's be real for a sec. 4.4 billion, that's a massive figure. What's actually fueling this growth?
I think it comes down to a few key factors. Number one, pickleball is just plain fun.
It is, right?
It's easy to pick up. You don't need to be a pro athlete to have a good time, and it's incredibly social.
Exactly. I've always said it's like tennis met ping pong, and they had a chill, laid-back baby.
Perfect analogy. And that relaxed vibe, I think, is a big part of what's attracting a younger crowd. Like, you might be surprised to know that the largest demographic of pickleball players is actually the 18 to 34 age group.
Really? 18 to 34? That's blowing my mind right now. I always picture, like, my parents' generation out there dominating the courts.
Yeah, but the data tells a different story. Almost 29% of players fall into that younger bracket.
So much for pickleball being a retirement sport, huh? So what's drawing these younger players in? What's the secret sauce?
Well, social media has definitely played a role. You see all these, fun videos, challenges, and it just looks so fun and quirky. You can't help but want to try it.
I get that. But it's also got to be more than just trends, right?
Right. I think there's also this deeper shift happening, especially with younger generations. They're looking for, forms of exercise that are less intense, less about competition, and more about just like hanging out, getting some movement in, and having a good time.
Yeah, it's like, who needs a super serious workout when you can, dink and laugh with your friends, right?
Exactly. And pickleball fits the bill perfectly. So you get this combination of being social, being active, and not taking yourself too seriously.
It's a winning combo for sure.
Yeah.
But with all these new players flocking to the courts, like, where is everyone going to play? Are there even enough places to accommodate this pickleball explosion?
That is the question, and it's a big one. The demand for courts, equipment, and even pickleball-specific facilities, it's through the roof.
Yeah, I can imagine.
In the U.S. alone, we're talking about a projected need for 25,000 new pickleball courts. 25,000.
25,000 new courts. Are we talking like building a pickleball court on every street corner at this point?
Pretty much. It really shows you how huge this is becoming. And it's not just courts. All those new players need paddles, balls, shoes, the whole shebang.
Don't forget the pickleball-themed water bottles. Got to stay hydrated out there.
Of course. But speaking of years, shoes are actually a bigger deal in pickleball than you might think.
Oh, yeah. They definitely look different from your average tennis shoe.
Exactly. Footwear is huge in pickleball. In 2023, it accounted for, get this, 39.3% of the entire market.
Wow, that's a big slice of the pickleball pie. But why are shoes so important?
Well, think about it. Pickleball involves lots of quick lateral movements, and you need shoes that provide good support, traction, and cushioning to protect your joints.
Oh, I get it. It's like you can't just rock up in your old running shoes and expect to dominate the pickleball court.
No way. The right shoes can make a big difference in terms of performance and preventing injuries.
So is there like a whole science to pickleball footwear? Are there special pickleball shoe scientists out there developing the perfect pickleball shoe?
It's getting pretty specialized, and with this boom in popularity, we're seeing a lot more innovation in footwear design.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Companies see the potential, they see the demand, and they're stepping up their game.
Absolutely. So yeah, pickleball is a dream come true for a lot of businesses right now.
And for players too, right? Like more options, better gear. It's all good news for pickleball lovers. But okay, let's dive into the business side of things a bit more. What kind of innovative business models are popping up around pickleball?
Well, one trend that's really catching on is the rise of dedicated indoor pickleball facilities.
Okay, tell me more about these pickleball palaces.
These places offer climate-controlled environments, top-notch courts, and all the amenities a pickleball player could dream of.
So it's like, come rain or shine, pickleball is always on.
Exactly. It's a great way to attract players year-round and guarantee perfect playing conditions, no matter the weather.
Smart move. Are there any big names in this space? Like any pickleball empires being built?
Oh yeah, there are a bunch. Companies like Lifetime Fitness, for example, are converting some of their existing facilities into dedicated pickleball centers.
Smart move. Ride that pickleball wave.
Exactly. And then there are those who are getting super creative, combining pickleball with other experiences.
Yeah, now we're talking. Pickleball plus what? This is where it gets really interesting.
There's this really cool franchise called Chicken and Pickle.
Chicken and pickle, okay. I'm intrigued.
They basically combine, get this, pickleball with dining and socializing. Like, imagine playing a few rounds, then grabbing some delicious food and drinks with your friends, all under one roof.
Okay, that's genius. It's like the ultimate hangout spot for pickleball enthusiasts.
Right, and it really speaks to this broader trend. Pickleball is becoming more than just a sport, it's a lifestyle.
Pickleball. A lifestyle. I love that. But okay, before we get too carried away with all this pickleball fun, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the potential injury on the court.
Right.
With all this pickleball passion, are we seeing a rise in, pickleball-related injuries?
That's a really important point. And the answer is yes, we are seeing an increase, especially with more older adults playing.
That makes sense. I mean, it's generally a low-impact sport, but still.
Exactly. But we're talking about millions of people hitting the courts now, so even a small percentage of injuries can add up to a lot.
And those medical bills can add up too.
You're telling me. In 2023 alone, pickleball-related injuries in the U.S. cost an estimated $377 million in healthcare.
That's crazy. What kind of injuries are we talking about here?
Well, the most common are sprains and strains, but we're also seeing, more serious stuff like fractures, tendinitis. It's not as risk-free as it might seem.
Wow, okay, so it's not all fun and games.
Right. And get this, about 90% of pickleball-related ER visits involve players 50 and older.
Oh, wow. So the older demographic might be more vulnerable.
It seems that way. Maybe it's because they're new to racket sports or perhaps pushing themselves too hard.
Yeah, trying to keep up with the youngsters.
Exactly. And the stats really back this up. Like, bone fractures from pickleball have increased by a staggering 200% over the past 20 years.
200%. That's insane. Like, what's causing all these fractures? Are people, tripping over the net?
Surprisingly, no. Most of them are actually caused by falls and trips.
So it's like, watch your step out there on the pickleball court.
Exactly. Even though pickleball is generally considered low impact, it's still important to take precautions, warm up properly, wear good shoes, and play at your own pace.
Safety first. Good advice.
Always. It's all about balance, right? Enthusiasm, yeah, but gotta be safe too. Speaking of injuries, though, it actually highlights a really interesting area in the pickleball market.
Oh, like what?
Well, there's this growing need for, equipment and facilities that are designed with safety and injury prevention in mind.
Ah, I see where you're going with this. So it's not just about creating more courts. It's about making them, safer, better designed.
Exactly. We could see, a lot more emphasis on cushioned court surfaces. So think of it as, shock absorbers, but for your body.
That makes a lot of sense, especially for those who are maybe a little older or have some pre-existing conditions. Those joints need all the help they can get.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just the courts. We could even see new innovations in equipment. Imagine paddles with these special ergonomic grips that would reduce strain on your wrists, your elbows.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Designing gear with the player's well-being in mind.
Yeah. And this focus on safety could even extend to, specialized training programs, coaching techniques that really emphasize proper form injury prevention.
So it's like a whole holistic approach to pickleball safety. That's smart.
It is. And it creates a massive opportunity for businesses to, step up and cater to this demand for safer pickleball. Which actually makes me wonder, is this whole pickleball craze just a North American thing?
Right.
Or is it, catching on in other parts of the world?
Yeah, that's a good question. Is pickleball going global?
It is. Pickleball is spreading its wings internationally, especially in Asia Pacific and Europe.
Pickleball conquering the world. I love it. But where are we seeing, the biggest growth outside of North America?
Well, countries like China, Japan, India, they're leading the charge. We're talking annual growth rates of over 12%.
Wow, that's impressive. It really makes you wonder, what is it about pickleball that's resonating with people from all these different cultures and backgrounds. It's fascinating.
Right. I think it really speaks to the universal appeal of pickleball, that simplicity, the social aspect, the accessibility. It's a sport that it transcends language barriers, cultural differences.
Anyone can grab a paddle and have fun, right? Young, old, beginner, pro, doesn't matter.
Exactly. Pickleball is truly a universal language of fun and connection.
I love that. It's true, though. But okay, back to the billion-dollar question. Is this just the beginning for pickleball? Or have we reached, like, peak pickleball?
That is the question. It's hard to say for sure, but all signs point to continued growth. The pickleball market, it's still pretty young, and there's so much potential out there.
I believe it. Okay, so I'm officially on the pickleball train. But before we get too carried away with our pickleball dreams, we should probably talk about, the potential challenges that this sport might face as it grows.
Yeah, you're right. With any kind of rapid growth, there are bound to be a few bumps in the road. And for pickleball, one of the biggest challenges is going to be managing its own popularity.
You mean like dealing with the influx of players, making sure there are enough courts for everyone?
Exactly. Access to courts is going to be key. We're already seeing waiting lists in some areas, and it's only going to get tougher as more people join the pickleball party.
So it's a classic case of supply and demand. The love for pickleball is there, but the infrastructure needs to catch up.
Exactly. And this is where cities and communities need to get creative. We need to think about building new facilities, maybe repurposing existing spaces.
So like, could we see pickleball courts popping up in like rooftops, parking garages, abandoned malls?
Hey, you never know. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? The pickleball community is full of passionate, innovative people. I'm sure we'll find some creative solutions.
I love that optimism. It's contagious.
Yeah.
But beyond the whole court space issue, are there any other challenges that pickleball might face?
Well, one potential issue is maintaining that unique culture and atmosphere as pickleball becomes more mainstream.
You mean like keeping that friendly, inclusive vibe?
Yeah. Right now, pickleball is known for being really welcoming, very social, not overly competitive. But as more players join, there's always that risk of it becoming, more serious, less welcoming to newcomers.
So it's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Embrace the growth, but protect the soul of the sport.
Exactly. We want to make sure that pickleball remains accessible and enjoyable for everyone, regardless of their age or skill level, even as it gets more popular.
I think that's super important. I mean, it all comes back to the origins of the sport, right?
Yeah.
Like, it started as this fun, simple game for families and friends. And that spirit of joy and connection, that's really at the heart of pickleball's appeal.
You're absolutely right. And remembering those roots, that's going to be essential as the sport continues to evolve.
Speaking of roots, I think it's time for a little history lesson. You mentioned the origins of pickleball earlier. Take me back to the very beginning.
All right, let's rewind the clock to the summer of 1965. We're on Bainbridge Island, Washington. Imagine a beautiful sunny day.
Okay, I'm picturing it. What happens next?
We have two families, the Pritchards and the Bells, returning home from a golf game. Their kids are bored, restless. That classic summer afternoon situation.
I know that feeling. Sounds like the perfect recipe for some parental panic.
Exactly. So the dads, Joel Pritchard and Bill Bell, they want to find a way to entertain their families. They have this old badminton court on their property, but they can't find a shuttlecock.
Uh-oh. Game over.
Not quite. They stumble upon a perforated plastic ball. One of those wiffle balls?
Wait, so they decided to play badminton with a wiffle ball. That's hilarious.
Pretty much. They lower the net, grab some ping pong paddles, and start experimenting. Their families join in, and this little boredom-busting activity, it transforms into a full-blown game.
I love it. Pure ingenuity right there. But wait, what about the name pickleball? Where did that come from?
Now that's where the story gets even more interesting. There are actually two different versions of how the game got its name.
Ooh, a pickleball naming mystery. Lay it on me.
So one story says that it was Joan Pritchard, Joel's wife, who came up with the name. She said it reminded her of the pickle boat in Crew, which is basically a boat made up of leftover rowers from other boats.
So like a bit of a mishmash, just like the sport itself.
Exactly, a blend of different elements. Now the other story, it revolves around the Pritchard family dog, a Cocker Spaniel named Pickles.
Okay, I already love this story. Tell me more about Pickles.
Well, Pickles, being a playful pup, would often chase after the ball during the game and run off with it.
Oh, I can totally see that. A dog adding to the chaos? That's adorable.
Right. So they started calling the game Pickles Ball, which eventually became Pickleball.
I love both stories. But either way, It's amazing to think that this simple backyard game, born out of boredom and maybe a little canine inspiration, has now turned into this billion-dollar global phenomenon.
It's a pretty incredible journey, isn't it?
It is. And speaking of journeys, have you ever played pickleball yourself?
You know, I have, and I gotta say, I'm completely hooked. It's just such a fun, engaging sport, and playing it has really given me a whole new perspective on, the market trends and everything we've been discussing today.
Oh, I bet. Nothing like experiencing something firsthand to really understand it. It sounds like you've really caught the pickleball bug. But before we wrap up this deep dive into pickleball, I want to look ahead, gaze into the crystal ball. What's next for this billion-dollar sport? What's on the horizon?
Ooh, that's a great question. Pickleball is at this really interesting point, right? Explosive growth, but also facing some challenges, like making sure there are enough courts, keeping players safe, and holding on to that special pickleball vibe.
So many exciting opportunities, but also some potential hurdles to overcome. Where do you see the biggest potential for, innovation and change in the years to come?
One area I'm super excited about is the whole intersection of pickleball and technology.
Ooh, pickleball meets tech. That sounds interesting.
We're already seeing some cool stuff happening with high-tech paddles and performance-enhancing gear, but I think that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, paint me a picture. What
Wow.
does this tech-driven pickleball future look like?
Well, imagine paddles with built-in sensors that track your swing speed, the spin you put on the ball, your impact point.
Well, that's cool. So you could get, real-time feedback on your technique.
Exactly. Or how about VR training programs? You could practice your dinking skills against virtual opponents in these crazy immersive environments.
Whoa, it's like those video games, but for real-life pickleball.
Hmm.
I can see that being a game changer, for both casual players and those who are more serious about their game.
Absolutely. Technology has so much potential to enhance the pickleball experience, make it more engaging, more accessible, maybe even safer.
Wait, safer? How could technology make pickleball safer?
Think about wearable tech that could monitor players' heart rates, their exertion levels, even predict their risk of getting injured.
So it's like having a personal trainer right there on your wrist, making sure you're not pushing yourself too hard.
Exactly. It could provide personalized recommendations for training, rest, recovery.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, technology is advancing so quickly. Who knows what the future holds for pickleball?
Right. The possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
But, okay, let's be real. While all this tech sounds super exciting, could it also have some, negative impacts?
Oh, definitely. We always have to be mindful of the unintended consequences of technology, right?
Right? Like, could it change the social dynamics of the sport?
Exactly. For example, high-tech equipment could create a barrier to entry for some players, if they can't afford the latest gadgets. And we don't want pickleball to become this exclusive, expensive sport.
Absolutely not. It's all about finding that balance.
Right.
Using technology to enhance the sport without, fundamentally changing its nature.
You got it. Making sure it stays accessible and inclusive for everyone, regardless of their, budget or tech savviness.
Well said. So, as pickleball keeps evolving, do you think it can hold on to that special combination of, competitiveness and camaraderie that really makes it so unique?
That's the big question. I don't have all the answers, but I am optimistic. The pickleball community, they're a passionate bunch. I think they'll find ways to navigate these challenges and keep that heart and soul of pickleball alive.
I hope you're right, because pickleball, at its core, it's about more than just, hitting a ball over a net.
It's about community, connection, having fun. It's a reminder that sports can bring people together, no matter their age, background, skill level.
Well said. Pickleball is a reminder that life's too short to take ourselves too seriously, right? Get out there, have some fun, and enjoy the game.
Exactly.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive into pickleball. Thanks so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
It was my pleasure. And to all our listeners out there, keep on dinking.
And that's a wrap on another episode of PicklePatter. Catch you next time, folks.